Chapter 5.8 Solve problems involving joint variation. The question states the horsepower that a shaft can safely transmit varies jointly with its speed in revolutions per minute and the cube of the diameter. If the shaft of a certain material 3 inches in diameter can transmit 41 horsepower at 95 revolutions per minute, what must the diameter be in order to transmit 63 horsepower at 165 revolutions per minute? And you're probably thinking, what does varies jointly mean? It's pretty much the same as the questions we worked on before, the ones that varies indirectly and directly. But this time, we just have one more variable, or maybe two. So because in this question, nowhere does it say it varies indirectly, we assume that it varies directly. So the typical equations for varies directly are something like x varies directly with y. But because we have varies jointly, which means having more than two variables, we have our third variable, and then we always have k, the constant. So let's define some variables right now. We have h for horsepower, and then we have s for speed, and d for diameter. Let's write our new equations. So pretty much saying the horsepower varies directly, so the h becomes our new x. So we have h equals to k, which is the constant, and then y is going to be our speed times s times, and then the cube of the diameter, so d cube. So this is our new equation. And this question, it's actually two parts. So part one is to find the k. And we're given that the diameter is 3 inches. And then the horsepower is 41. And the speed is 95. And we're trying to find k. Let's plug in these values into the equations we have. So we have 41 equals to k times 95 times 3 cube. So that's pretty much 41 equals to k times 95 times 27. And then 41 equals to k times 95 times 27, which is also 2,565. And because we're solving for k, we have to divide both sides by 2,565. So if you plug that into the calculator, k equals to 0.0159844. Moving on to part 2. So part 2 is to solve the answer, which is the diameter. So find d. And we're given that the h is 63, the speed is 165, and k is 0.0159844. And what is d? So we are going to plug in these values into the equations. So we have 63 equals to 0.0159844 times 165 times d cube. And then if you multiply these values together, it will give you 2.637426 d cube. And then because we're solving for d, we're trying to isolate d, so we have to divide both sides by 2.637426. So if you do that, d cube equals to 23.8 2.886926. We're trying to solve for d, not d cubed, so we have to raise both sides to the power of 1/3. And then if you raise the power, redo. So d cubed to the 1/3 power equals to d, equals to 23.886926 to the 1/3 power. And if you plug that into your calculator, d equals to 2.88. And 2.88 inches is going to be your final answer.